July is ending on a high note, with the summer of eShop deals still going strong. Here are the current best games and biggest discounts from the latest sales that you need to know about for the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. Let's dive into it. The excellent No Man's Sky is back on sale this week for 60% off. I really can't praise this game enough. Over the years, the developers have continued to release major updates, new content, and full-blown expansions. And the best part is that every single one of them has been completely free. There's no paid expansion packs or other monetization. In an era where so many games are constantly asking you to spend more money, I think that's pretty incredible. I wish more developers and publishers took that approach. Even on the original Switch, it's impressive that the game has received nearly all the same content and updates on other platforms, despite not including multiplayer. On Switch 2, though, this is where the game really shines. It includes the full multiplayer experience, it looks fantastic, and it offers several graphical options, including the ability to unlock the frame rate. It's an excellent way to experience No Man's Sky, especially if you enjoy playing in handheld mode. If you're a fan of the older Paper Mario games, particularly Paper Mario 64 and the Thousand Year Door, then you should definitely check out a game called Bug Fables. Its gameplay is heavily inspired by those classics, and it does an excellent job capturing what made those so special. When it launched in 2020, it received widespread critical acclaim, and it was considered one of the best Nintendo Switch games to come out that year. One of the things I really like about this game is the title system, which allows you to listen to your party members chat and interact with each other as you explore. It's a fun little touch that reminds me a bit of the party chat feature in some Dragon Quest games. There's also no shortage of content in this one, with plenty of side quests, optional bosses, and secrets to discover. It's back on sale this week with a 65% off discount. This is definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of RPGs. RPG Classics, Suikoden 1 and 2, in its Remastered collection, gets a good-sized discount on the eShop this week, a 50% off discount. The Suikoden games are praised for their memorable characters, emotional storytelling, and rewarding turn-based combat, as well as the ability to recruit 108 characters. Yes, the roster for these games are massive. These games are classics and very much loved, and the remasters do them some good justice here. The remaster features HD graphics, updated effects, and animations, but also feature quality of life improvements, like an autosave, the ability to speed up battles, which is always a plus, and a conversation log. Note, while there is a Switch and Switch 2 version, there is no upgrade path, so make sure to choose the right version that you need. The Switch 2 version does support higher resolutions, as well as it has 60 FPS support in handheld and docked modes. Castlevania Advanced Collection is an excellent collection for fans of Metroidvania-style games. It includes all 3 Game Boy Advance titles, Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow, which are all Metroidvania-style Castlevania games, along with the Super Nintendo game Dracula X, which is a reimagining of Castlevania Rondo of Blood. All 3 Game Boy Advance games are absolutely worth playing, but Aria of Sorrow is easily the standout. I personally consider it to be one of the best Castlevania games ever made, and it's also one of the greatest titles that came out on the Game Boy Advance. The collection also comes packed with extras, including a gallery featuring artwork and behind-the-scenes material, multiple regional variations of each game, a detailed encyclopedia that breaks down the game's mechanics, enemies, and other information, plus it includes a musical player that you can listen to the soundtracks from each title. It also includes several quality-of-life features, such as the ability to save at any time and rewind gameplay, making these classics more accessible than ever before. For 50% off, $9.99 on the US eShop, this is an excellent retro collection to pick up from the sale. If you're a fan of mech action games, Daemon x Machina Titanic Scion is definitely worth checking out if you have a Switch 2. You get to pilot a fully customizable mech, taking on enemies in high-speed battles while upgrading your weapons and abilities to suit your playstyle. Whether you're a longtime fan of mech games or just looking for a good action game with some deep customization, this is worth a look, especially since it's deeply discounted this week on the eShop. At 60% off, it's the cheapest it's ever been on the eShop. There's a demo available on the eShop too, so make sure to check that out first if you haven't yet. Crimzon Clover World Explosion is a fantastic shoot-'em-up available on the eShop. The gameplay is heavily inspired by Taito's classic Ray series. It's a vertical shooter that features a similar lock-on system, allowing you to target multiple enemies and unleash a barrage of missiles at once. Along with the lock-on attack, you also have your standard shot and bombs that can be used depending on how much of the bomb gauge you have filled. If you fill the gauge completely, then you can activate a thing called Break Mode, which allows you to rack up an insane amount of points. Fill it even further, and then you can activate Break Mode within Break Mode for even more chaos and a massive scoring boost. What makes Crimzon Clover so addictive is the constant decision-making between survival and chasing high scores. Do you use your gauge to use bombs to stay alive, or do you save it for break mode to maximize your score? The risk and reward system makes it incredibly satisfying to master and will quickly hook shoot-'em-up fans. If you love the genre, then this is definitely worth checking out. It's currently on sale for 50% off on the eShop, bringing it down to just $9.99 on the US eShop. The 100 Line Last Defense Academy is a strategy RPG that combines intense turn-based combat with a dark visual novel story. Set at a mysterious academy under siege by monsters, players take control of 15 students who must defend the school for 100 days while uncovering the secrets behind the situation. The game blends elements from games like Danganronpa and Fire Emblem, while also featuring character relationships, branching story paths, and difficult choices that dramatically change the outcome of the story. The game is known for its over-the-top characters and plenty of dark humor, and its unique mix of survival, mystery, and strategy gameplay. The game has received a positive response from both reviewers and players alike, and it's back on sale this week with a 30% off discount. Samurai SHODOWN NEOGEO Collection is an awesome collection featuring 7 Samurai SHODOWN games. You get Samurai SHODOWN 1 through 5, Samurai SHODOWN 5 Special, and Samurai SHODOWN 5 Perfect, which made its official debut with this collection after never being released before. This collection includes online play, both the English and original arcade versions of each game, plus a huge museum mode, packed with over 200 pieces of artwork and historical content, along with more than 200 musical tracks to enjoy with the built-in music player. These are some of the greatest fighting games ever made, so at 75% off, just $9.99 on the US eShop, this collection is an absolute no-brainer for fighting game fans and retro gaming enthusiasts alike. SNK vs. Capcom SVC Chaos on the eShop is an updated version of the classic fighting game, featuring additional content and improvements that make it feel like a remaster of sorts. This release includes online multiplayer with rollback netcode, along with a new hitbox viewer that provides a detailed look at each character's collision areas, which serves as a useful training tool. It also features a gallery mode filled with artwork, character designs, and extras for fans to explore. The game is currently 50% off this week, the biggest discount it's received so far, bringing the price down to just $9.99 on the US eShop. Wild Hearts S is even cheaper this week than it was last month when it was on sale. It gets a massive 67% off discount, which drops it down to just $16.49 on the US eShop. While it's very similar to the Monster Hunter games, Wild Hearts S sets itself apart with its gameplay mechanics that let you instantly build mechanical structures like springs, traps, and towers right in the middle of a hunt. These creations completely change how you approach each monster, adding a layer of real-time strategy and mobility to every battle. There are plenty of other differences as well, but for the sake of keeping this video moving, I'd recommend checking out the free demo on the eShop. It does a very good job of introducing all the game's core mechanics, and that way you can check out to see if it's a right fit for you to pick up from the sale. And yes, this game also features online multiplayer, so you can easily team up with friends to hunt monsters just like you would in the Monster Hunter series. Also on sale this week from Koei Tecmo is Fatal Frame 2 Crimzon Butterfly Remake. It gets a nice sized discount this week, 30% off, which makes it $34.99 on the US eShop currently. The original game was a classic. It's considered to be one of the best Japanese horror games of all time. And while I haven't played much of this remake personally, I did try out the demo, and I kinda liked what I saw. It's definitely got the spooky vibes down pat. Publisher Level 5 doesn't seem to do sales on the eShop that often, so it's always worth talking about when they do a sale. 3 of their top titles from their catalog are currently on sale. Fantasy Life: The Girl Who Steals Time is a part role-playing game, part life simulation game, and it gets its biggest discount on the eShop this week, 30% off. This is both for the standard Switch and Switch 2 versions. If you get the Switch 1 version, you can upgrade it later to the Switch 2 edition for a small fee. In this game, you explore an open world, fighting monsters just like any action RPG. But considering this is a life sim, you can take on a number of unique jobs as well, like fishing and cooking or crafting, while shaping the island and your town to your desires. This game is filled to the brim with lots of stuff to do and discover. INAZUMA 11 Victory Road is, believe it or not, an RPG centered around football, or soccer as it's known in the States. The INAZUMA 11 series has seen several games come out over the years, but this is actually the first game in the series officially released in North America. This game takes place 25 years after the first game, with a new cast of characters paving the way to winning a championship. The game receives its first major discount on the eShop with the latest sale, 30% off the Switch and Switch 2 versions. MEGATON MUSASHI is a real treat for those who love Japanese giant robot anime. This is a surprisingly deep mech action RPG that combines fast-paced robot combat with a huge amount of customization. You build and upgrade your own giant robots, mixing and matching parts, weapons, and abilities that you obtain to create the perfect machine for your playstyle. The game features an over-the-top, anime-like story with tons of missions and crossover content from some notable mecha franchises, making this a great pick for fans of giant robots, action RPGs, and classic anime-inspired games. The standard edition is on sale for 50% off, which means it's only $24.99 on the US eShop currently. Before I wrap up today, there's a few more deals that I'd like to quickly mention that are worth noting. Pepper Grinder is a really neat Metroidvania that combines Metroidvania gameplay with a unique gameplay concept of using a drill to navigate the environments and battling enemies. It's pretty cool, and it's super cheap to pick up right now. It gets a 67% off discount, so it's just $5 on the US eShop. Tetris Forever gets discounted to 50% off for the first time ever. This is a really good game collection that has over 15 playable versions of Tetris. It also features more than an hour of documentary stuff to check out, plus a really neat virtual museum mode where you can explore the history of Tetris and the games. That's very akin to the one that is included in the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection. If you're a fan of Tetris, I consider this a must-have collection. Finally, the Turok collection is back on sale for 75% off. It's $14.99 on the US eShop again. All 3 games, 1, 2, and 3, have been fully remastered, and the collection includes quality of life features, like a modern control scheme option. This collection is the best way to enjoy these titles on consoles currently. And there you go, that's the latest eShop deals. Let me know if you plan to pick up anything from the sale in the comments down below. If you appreciate the video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, as well as turning on notifications so you do not miss out on any future videos. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you soon with the next video.